welcome to This Happy Guru. This is Kirsty Bentley Taylor. I'm joining, we're joining today live on the full moon on the 7th of November, new moon on the 7th of November. And also Diwali is today. So happy Diwali to my Sikh and Jain and Hindu friends who will be celebrating that today. Diwali is traditionally one of the festivals, or the festival of light, in those cultures, and it's all about lightness dispelling darkness. And the full moon today is in Scorpio, and it's all about kind of introspection and taking like the darker sides of you and making them kind of, work for you, healing old wounds, that sort of thing. And with all that kind of energy spread out across the world, I thought that, new moons are a great time to be making, commitments to what it is that you want to achieve. They're traditionally times of new beginnings and setting new intentions, starting diets, doing new business stuff, all that sort of thing. And this one being on the 7th of the 11th, 11th is obviously November, and it's the 11th month, but 2018 is also an 11 universal year. And if you're into numerology, or you have any idea of the significance of those numbers, 11 is a master number. And it's a master number because it's the two ones. Now, one is standing, if you think about the number one, it's direct from the ground up to the universe. It's like that straight pillar, which is a conduit of energy. And so 11, you've got that doubled, you've got that magnified, kind of almost like the gates, almost walking through to the next step. So 11 is a universal, 2018 is a universal year of number 11. And obviously November is the 11th month. And on the 7th, on the new moon, with Diwali coinciding in that, it's not always on the 7th of November, Diwali, it just happens to have coincided with that this year. I felt like it was a great day to start making some intentions, to start setting out where it is exactly we want to be going. And so today I thought we'd do vision boarding. Now, vision boarding, I've talked about setting intentions. I've talked about using the power of the law of attraction. I've talked about, like on full moon 2 weeks ago, we talked about letting go of the things that are holding you back, enabling you to move forward, enabling you to kind of set a precedent for what it is that you want to achieve in life. And so, I felt like today on the new moon was the perfect time actually to begin to really set those intentions. And I know that intention setting can sometimes be quite... it can sometimes be very, very connected, but also sometimes it can be a little bit disconnected. So you have that idea of what is it that I really do want? What is it that I really do want to manifest? So we're going to go over a little bit of that today, and then start putting together a vision board, which is essentially a massive vision of what you want to achieve going forward. Now, I tend to do these, I'll be honest, I don't do them every year. I've done them for years before and set my intention for things that I've wanted to do using vision boards, like going traveling. When I was young, I had a vision board about where I wanted to go. This was before I even knew what vision boards were. I basically kind of cut photos out of travel magazines, and when you used to be able to go to the travel agents and get loads of magazines on different places, cut out all the different pictures that inspired me, make a note of the names of places, get books that I would regularly look through. It became my absolute focus to get to that place. And every time that I ever wanted to do that, I manifested that, and manifested it within the year as well. Saved up enough money, bought my tickets, took the plunge, got my backpack ready, and off I went. And I went for once for 2 years, once for 2.5 years at a time. So I kind of, when I go big. So that's what we're doing this year. That's what we're going to manifest for 2019. And the last time I actually did this was before, when we were coming back to England. I started to gather together the visions of what it was that I wanted to create here, how it was that I wanted to work here. I had visions of creating Kirsty's Conscious Kids, which is a version of the yoga that I do that I've tailor-made for children, which I still teach. I teach from the ranges of about 18 months up to about 9 years. So I feel very grateful for that. So I manifested that, got that up and running, doing private classes, doing public classes, and working for a local nursery so that I can teach the little dots. And I also wanted to really build a private tuition basis for my adult students, my adult clients, because I really felt like I can give more, like the person that I am, the teacher that I am, I can give more on a one-to-one basis. They get more out of me. It enables me to really power my concentration, my focus into them. And that's the kind of energy that I really have enjoyed when I've been privy to that, when I've been studying. And so that was kind of what I wanted to give back, that one-to-one attention, that dedication to that soul, to that self, and enabling them to see their power and their beauty going forward. But one of the most special vision boards I think I ever did was one for my wedding. So I just wanted to sort of share that one with you. I've got all of this stuff together. But this was it wasn't a wedding board, it wasn't a vision board. It was a wedding book, like a wedding vision book. So I'm just going to come a little bit closer and see if you can see here. So lovely embossed golden book. And what I ended up doing was I wanted to find my dream wedding dress. And so what I did was I went through loads of wedding magazines. I hope you can see all this. It's not going to fall apart. I wanted to see all my wedding, all my different wedding ideas. So I went through wedding books and had a look at all the different dresses that I liked. I don't know if you can see this. Coming a little bit closer. It was basically sort of this kind of whole long dress that I liked. I kind of like that pillar look, a little bit what they call it, like a Grecian neckline, empire neckline, all those sorts of things. So that was my idea for my dress. Then we're going forward into my dress a little bit more. There was something else there that I liked down the neckline. Then I looked at the colours that I wanted for my wedding, and as you probably know from me by now, I'm quite a nice bright girl, sort of a bright colours sort of girl. So the colours that I wanted were pinks, yellows, oranges, and so those were my ideas, kind of for my flowers, and for table decorations, that sort of thing. And I love that bright. I really wanted a nice bright wedding. I'm kind of a nice bright coloured girl. So that carried on. I wanted a mariachi band. Ever since going to South America, I love the whole idea. Well, I love South American music. I love South American culture, but I love the romance of mariachi. So it was my dream to have a mariachi band at my wedding. And you can see that I wanted the outside brought in. I took some more very bright, vibrant pictures here to kind of simulate the environment that I wanted to create for my wedding and for my guests. Some more ideas of flowers. This actually became my bouquet, exactly like this. This was Eva Longoria's bouquet, but I ended up with my bouquet exactly like that. I got everything that I had in this book, by the way, just as an aside. The mariachi band I had the what are they called, philanthropists, I think, orchids. I had the pink, the yellow, the orange bridesmaid. So here we're moving into the bridesmaid colours, and I was really looking for not so much that, but that kind of yellow colour. Ended up going with like a bright pink, a bright orange, and a bright yellow, and which you can see here. These were the actual colours that I asked my bridesmaids to wear. So I had the bright pink. My sister was in that. My friend Andrea was in the orange. My friend Emma was in the yellow. And we had this beading around the middle. We ended up using that sample. Then this was for my hair design. Was thinking about how I would have my hair. Wanted it half up, half down, which is what I ended up with. Ended up with diamante dipped in at the sides. And you can see like I've gone through and had like there's more mariachi there. I was keen on the mariachi. This was my perfect venue, which was Buxted Park, which was exactly where I got married. There's actually a picture of my sister just dropped out having her bridesmaid dress fitted by my best friend's mum as well, Pam, who made my dresses for me as my wedding gift. So that was nice. I don't know where that came from. We'll pop that back in afterwards. So yeah, Buxted Park was my perfect venue, this beautiful big Georgian house. And we ended up having like a big party for our wedding. So we were about to emigrate. So we invited everybody, family and friends, to stay at the house and just pay like I think it ended up being about 80 quid for the night or something like that, which, wasn't bad at all. And since we were in East Sussex and the majority of us lived in Surrey, it was a lot cheaper than a cab fare home. So that worked out really well. Ended up having this massive house party for our wedding. Fairy tale wedding. So that was very much like it was. That again is Buxted Park Hotel. We had photos taken there. We got married in the Orangery, which is this building here. I've got bits dropping out where I haven't managed to stick them in, or they've dropped out. And then we were looking for our cake. So I ended up with a version of this one for my wedding cake without the dark chocolate swirl. It was all white chocolate, basically a big profiterole cake. 3 types of different filling in profiteroles going up into a pyramid, and that was our cake. So ended up with that as well. Oh, this was an example of our wedding invitations, very similar to the ones that we sent out. I think I've got an example of the actual ones somewhere, probably in my wedding box upstairs. And yeah, that was it. Oh, onto the honeymoon. So we ended up going to Zanzibar and Kenya for our honeymoon on safari and staying in a beautiful place in Zanzibar, which I had all the pictures for. So that was the view from our room. And I didn't know it at the time. My husband booked all this as a complete surprise. So he booked the honeymoon, complete surprise. I didn't know where I was going, but these were the places that I kind of manifest. And that was the beach that actually our hotel was overlooking. So you can see that it doesn't really matter if you know you're going to get there or not. When you put your intention, when you set your intention out there, you get back what it is that you set your intention for. And I think it was looking back through this actually after the wedding and realizing how many of the things that I'd set my intention for that came true. That was one of the things that really jolted into me how powerful this book had become, because this started with me. My friend Lisa actually had said to me, why don't you get yourself a book that you can stick all the little clippings in, and it'll be a beautiful, beautiful keepsake for afterwards. And I thought, you know what, that's really nice. And I used pins to stick everything in. Initially anyway, so I ended up using glue in the end, but I used pins initially because I like the idea of pinning it, or almost kind of like it was the fabric of my life, and I was kind of like attaching things to it. You know, what I wanted to achieve, I was kind of attaching it into. And so I used pins in there, and we're going to use pins on the vision board today. So before you start a vision board, it's really, really important to get clear on what it is that you want. And as I did with my wedding book, I looked for things that inspired me, things that I was drawn to, things that I liked, and I began to collect them down. And you can collect them down either writing them down, or you can collect them as I did through pictures, through ideas, however it is that you kind of best like to focus your mind, and however it is that you create. You know, some people need to be very, very kind of logical and write everything down in a lot of steps. And I'm actually quite like that as well. But I do find that when I'm making my vision boards, I need to almost get into that visual space already. You know, I really need to be kind of in it. And so I tend to just go through, well, now it's the internet as well. At the time, it wasn't so much the internet. As I said, it was magazines and things. But I go through magazines. I'll go through the internet. I'll look for and search for pictures that I want to create, or pictures of things that I want to create. I'll look for phrases that really resonate with me. And if I can't find the phrases that I resonate with, then I make my own up. You know, it's just as simple, it's just as easy. If there's something I know that I want to achieve, then I'm going to go for it and I'm going to write it out because that's what I want. Other than that, I'm looking for things that inspire me. I'm looking for phrases that inspire me, that really connect me in. This has got to be something you're going to look at every single day. So it's got to really resonate, and it needs to set a vibration that you can align with a sense of real joy and purpose. You know, so coming from that higher self area, you know, of you, coming from that part of your energy that connects in and really feels like, I don't want to say like it's achievable, but like it's already yours. You know, it's kind of like, so for example, with the mariachi, because I'd already been to South America and I'd seen all that, that for me was just, I want that at my wedding. You know, I'm having mariachi at my wedding. Like that, you know, that for me is amazing. And just thinking about the mariachi, even still now, you know, makes me smile. We had, I think it was like 8 guys turned up. They were brilliant. You know, in fact, they couldn't have been better. Massive, great big guitars. They had the full gear on, all in like black and white. And they were just fabulous. But just thinking about that made me smile, and it was definitely something that I wanted as part of my day. I wanted to express that love that I had for South America and everything that it had kind of taught me, because I'd had a great experience over there. It really taught me a lot about myself and accepting myself. and it was definitely something that I felt like actually that expression of music and joy and romance all was going to be perfect for my wedding day. And you can see how keen I was by the fact that I had kind of 2 pictures of the mariachi in my wedding book already. So that was definitely going to happen. And that actually happened really, really easily. Like it literally took, I think Googling or something, mariachi bands near me or something, I can't remember. It was like 10 years, 11 years, 12 years ago now. And we've been married 10 years. So it would have been like 12 years ago now that I started kind of ringing around and asking for availability. And it turned out to be relatively cheap. It was kind of, one of those things I thought, well, maybe it's going to blow the budget. But no, it was well affordable within our budget. So that was great. My husband was really up for the idea. They were super cool, didn't charge us like for coming out from London, really, really lovely people. We invited them to stay afterwards, sent them home with a bit of cake, all that sort of thing. And it was just a really, really lovely experience. All the colours as well, initially, because they're quite bold colours, to ask people to wear like bright pink, bright orange, bright yellow. But my bridesmaids and initially were all a little bit like, oh, but when I showed them the colours, it was like each colour had been picked directly for them. And when they started wearing them, it was becoming easier and easier. That initial sort of, I don't know about this curse, like that is bright orange, especially like my friend Andrea who'd been in the bright orange. I think she was like, my one fear is that I'm going to look like I've been tangoed. It's just like this orange drink, like orange Fanta. And there was an advert in the 90s about this guy like advertising Tango, and he was just kind of all orange, and she just felt like it was going to be too much. But actually, as she put it, she put the dresses on and with her beautiful dark hair and her sort of deep olive skin, she just looked beautiful. And the colours just really went with my girls. They really, the yellow, the kind of the canary yellow that we ended up with for my friend Emma was beautiful, really, really lightened her up. And the pink for my sister was beautiful as well. They all looked gorgeous. So that was really cool. And I manifested everything, even without necessarily focusing in on it. Like I knew what I wanted in terms of my colours. I knew that I wanted the mariachi band. But I'd already picked Buxted Park Hotel as my perfect venue before we'd even kind of gone down there or anything like that. I just love the elegance of the place. And for me, that was it. So when you're talking about or thinking about things that you want to focus your attention on, make sure that it really is almost the best of what you want. Don't settle. If you're going to set your attention on getting something, make it the thing that you really want. Don't make it half-hearted. Don't make it second best. Otherwise, your energy is going to be half-hearted. Your energy is going to be second best, right? It's not going to align. It's going to align with whatever you give it. So you might as well align it with what you really, really want and be passionate about that. This is your life. That you're looking at every day. This is what you want to create that you're looking at every day. You need to be able to feel enthused by it. You need to be able to feel excited by it. It needs to bring a sense of, anticipation and joy into your life so that when you look at it, you're like, yeah, that's what I'm going for. Brilliant. I love it. I love it. Because that is also the energy that you're going to be infusing into your life then. That every time you go for something, it's like, no, because I really want it. I love it. And you've told your subconscious mind that every single time that you've looked at this vision board. And that's the power of the vision as well. So having this around you, wherever you're going to see it most, is going to be the most powerful. So I'm fortunate in the fact that I work mostly from home. I have a lot of clients that I go out to, but generally speaking, I work a lot of time from home. So my vision boards tend to be at home for me. They tend to be, in my office, particularly where I spend most of my time. This is where I do my yoga every morning. This is where I do my meditation. This is where I do all my kind of tech work, if you like, my admin work on the computer and all that sort of thing. So once my vision board goes up, it'll be going up in this room and it'll be going up in a place that I see as I'm doing my yoga. As I'm focusing my energy, as I can see it all the time out the corner of my eye. It'll be somewhere where I can see it work. It's going to be going next to my computer. So I do my yoga along here. My computer's behind the camera at the moment, but my vision board will be going up against the wall there. And it's also surrounded by kind of all my deities and all that sort of stuff as well, which for me feels powerful. It's kind of like I've got this wall. Usually you see me with Buddha behind me. So now you can see on my opposite wall. And I'm so it's going to be aligning with all of that. So I've got this whole wall of kind of intention setting and my spirituality, keeping me focused, keeping me mindful, all that sort of stuff. So where you put it as well, be mindful about where you put it. You want to be able to see it a lot of the time, but it needs to be in a place as well that's practical for you. Obviously, kind of kitchens don't tend to be great places for vision boards unless you're a cook, you're a chef, or it's the way you spend the majority of your time. But sometimes they can, get dirty and they're in the way and all that sort of thing. So think about somewhere where you're gonna be able to visualize it, you're gonna be able to see it a lot, and you're going to be able to kind of manifest that energy when you're in a kind of a calm, focused state. So that's just about positioning of your vision board and where you're going to eventually put it. Next thing you want to be able to do is kind of write down your intentions. So you're thinking about things like, what do you really, really want? What do you need? Maybe those wants and needs, that's that's quite important to focus on that as well. So what is it that I want and what is it that I need? Those are the things that I really want to manifest into my life, my wants and my needs. And alongside that, make it things that you value, because underneath all of this, it has to resonate with you. It has to be that every time you see it, like I say, you see a sense of joy. If it's something that you don't really value, if it's something that you're kind of a bit like, well, I think I should have that, but actually underneath it all, it doesn't really mean much to me. You won't align your energy with it as easily. Your mind and your energy and your subconscious and your conscious mind will skip over it a little bit, because it doesn't generate that hook that we want. It doesn't really draw you in. It doesn't excite you, and it doesn't align your energy fully with it. So be really clear on what it is that you want, what it is that you need, but also make it something that is going to be of real value to you. And for me as well, it's got to that point now where I'm looking at, my 3 children and my husband and the life that I want to create or help create for all of them. I have them in mind as well. They're always kind of in the back of my mind as to because they affect my values. I'm not going to design a life that means that I have to be away from my children all the time. That's not the life that I've ever wanted to create. I value every second that I spend with them, and I wish, in all honesty, that I could spend more time with them. And this is one of the focuses for this as well, to be able to kind of get a lifestyle where I am spending more time with them. I am able to really dedicate the time that I do have with them to them as well, not kind of doing a little bit as I do now, a lot of work focused around them and, trying to squeeze in this and squeeze in them and all that sort of thing. I want to be able to clear the slate in 2019, really make my time work for me so that I can continue being the best mum that I can be, but access a little bit more time for them. My son's just about to start his GCSEs. My girls, it's getting harder for them. They're going to be moving up next year into year 6 and year 4. So, really they kind of need me ASAP, to be a little, around a little bit more to help support all through that. So I want, and I want to be there for them. They really are kind of my number one priority. So, and I want you to think about as well, when you're creating your vision, is, I suppose, what it is that you want to feel when this vision for you manifests. How is it that you are expecting this to change your life? What is it that you're expecting to feel, you're wanting to feel? What feelings really resonate from all the pictures and the quotes and the kind of the hooks that are going to kind of draw you in here? What is it that you really want to feel from this? And have a sense of that when you're looking through for all the things that are your inspiration, and that are going to go onto your vision board. So when we start, first of all, I like to create a space for like a beautiful creative space. I like to make this whole thing quite spiritual. You wouldn't have guessed that from me, would you? So as I did with my full moon ritual, I'm just going to kind of share some of that stuff with you and the significance for me. Some of the old stuff, I'm going to move out the way now, some of the old stuff that I brought out in full moon has come back again. So I've got my candles, I've got my Ganesh for removing obstacles. I brought Buddha down as well. I've got my crystals from my full moon ritual as well. I'm going to light my candles, start them off. Yeah, just here really. Just again to bring that kind of magical vibration that the candles do in. I've got my Palo Santo, my beautiful smudging stick from South America, which helps to dispel negative energy and clear a path for positive energy. So we just light that. And again, before I start, I'm going to cleanse my own aura, my own energy, and then do the same around the space that I'm working with. So 3 times around the head, 2, 3, 3 times around my bottom, or my feet, sorry, my bottom, 3. And I'm going to clear the vision board as well, because this is a void board that I've used before. Used to be a window board for my husband's fabric company. So I'm reusing, recycling. I like to do stuff like that. It makes me feel like, I think it makes me feel a lot more positive about what I'm, all the stuff that I'm using, because obviously as you print stuff out, it tends to use a bit of paper, so we just leave that there. So yeah, because this is a window box, it's got like a glass frame on it, so yours ordinarily wouldn't have. You can use like a great big sheet of card or a great big sheet of paper, whatever really, whatever resonates with you, is easier to find and is a realistic size for you. So I'm going to use this. Now I haven't really started, but it opens up like that. Very glamorous, isn't it? Very glamorous. Then my kids' little fingers don't get all over it as well. So what I've done, I'll just lift these bits up because I've started with those. But what I've done initially is to decorate it with some Indian cloth. Now, red is quite a significant colour for me, but also in terms of the way that your mind works. When it sees red, it goes straight to it. If you ever look at marketing campaigns, the power of red within a marketing campaign is usually used to isolate or to draw out something. So for example, if you've got like sale, think of the word sale, it's always in red. It's that big bold boom, out there, you can't miss it. It's also red for me is the color of the root chakra, as I've said before, which is all about standing in being grounded into your world, but also about standing true as who you are, dispelling fear. That's where, like, if you ever have any kind of lower backache, anything like that, look at what it is that you might be scared of, that you might be fearful of stepping into, because that can often manifest around that root chakra. But red is the color that we associate with the root chakra. And when we're doing meditations and stuff, you'd be imagining the energy ball of red down at the root chakra, at the base chakra. So I like to use red because it draws my attention directly to it. It highlights everything. It draws everything out. I've also been told for me that red is one of my spiritual colors. So I just thought this would be lovely. Now I've used a vintage piece of sari to decorate. I mean, you don't have to get as I've just kind of tried to make it as personal as I can. And my husband, when he came back from an Indian trip, he was sourcing cloth and sourcing fabric for the shop. And he had kind of got all these old cut-offs from all these old vintage saris. And I kind of just was drawn to them all. And he was like, well, look, I probably won't be able to sell this bit, so you have this bit. So he's given me this kind of old bit of fabric. So I've cut it up and I've made it as kind of my outline to go around the edge, not least just to make it look pretty, but also so that my eye is drawn directly to it. So I'm going to start this is my board, and I'm going to start with this. I'm going to use pins to lay out. Again, I like that idea. Rather than using glue, I like to use pins. I like to be able to kind of attach stuff to it. But I've got a few like little sequins and stuff here as well, just for a bit of glitter, a bit of sparkle, a bit of like making it alive, and being able to catch the light as well. So I've got that there too. I've also got my mala beads from my ancestors, so they'll be going on as well. Like that. I love that smell of sandalwood. I love putting these on. And I have also brought together some essential oils, which I'm going to diffuse in my little burner here. So I've got 3 essential oils. I always put 3 together, like this, really the magic of 3. So 3 is one of my lucky numbers, but also 3 is seen ever present throughout geometry, throughout sacred, like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the higher consciousness, the subconsciousness. There's a kind of magic 3 that permeates through a lot of spiritual, psychological, universal, connective law, if you like, and study, and all of that sort of stuff, all of that esoteric sort of stuff. And I've always thought that I have 3 children, so kind of 3 was one of the things that always, the numbers that always kept coming up to me. And then once I'd had my 3 kids and I knew that I was done with that, as I began to kind of reflect over my life and realize that I brought that 3 in as well, I really solidified that as a magic number for me. So my magic numbers are 3 and 5. And of course, I'm one of 5 in our family, and I have my 3 children. And there's loads of things with 5 in it, like, you know, my birthday has a 5. There's just loads of things like it. So anyway, long story short, my numbers are 3 and 5. And I always use 3 oils when I diffuse. I think 5 always gets a bit confusing, so I use 3. And the ones that I've chosen to use today while we're doing this are Arbor Vitae, which is the oil of divine grace. So it assists individuals who believe or act like all progress must be made through struggle and solitary effort, instead of trusting in the divine. These individuals unconsciously block divine aid, choosing instead to live by their own efforts. Arbor Vitae addresses the need to control one's outcomes in life. It invites individuals to live with peace and joy by trusting in the abundant flow of divine grace. So that's Arbor Vitae. That's the one I'm using today. And 3 drops of that have gone into my diffuser. The next one is Clary Sage, which is the oil of clarity and vision. Assists individuals in changing their perceptions and gives courage to see the truth. One of the finest oils for the brow chakra, so that's like the third eye, you know, again, that connected out with higher consciousness, with your higher self. Dispels darkness and illusion, helping the person to see their limiting belief systems. So I wanted to kind of be able to give myself clarity and vision while I'm creating this here today, and also to be able to, every time I smell these oils again, to be able to drop into this creative space that I've made for myself, so that I can really kind of keep benefiting from that. And whenever I need to kind of re-imprint the significance of today for myself, I can do that through smell. So we've got Clary Sage as well. It's the positives of clarity, intuition, open-mindedness, imaginative, and spiritually disconcerting. So those are the positive properties of that oil. And then the last one is ginger, which is a great oil for my dosha, which you know, is the Ayurvedic way of ascertaining what's good in terms of food and drink and self-care, that was, you know, in the science of health, which was passed down with the science of yoga. And ginger is the oil of empowerment, so it holds no reservations. This oil has a purpose and a will, and it will fulfill it. Ginger powerfully persuades individuals to be fully present and participate in life, teaches that to be successful in life, one must be wholly committed to it. So there's a lot more to it than that, but I wanted that one as well to really kind of kick me in and make sure that I understand that I am manifesting this. I am the one that's going to make all this stuff happen, and it's going to be down to me, you know. So I've got Arbor Vitae to support me with, so that I'm not struggling. I don't feel struggle. I allow the universe to do its thing, and I allow it to support me, but also that I take control and I take charge, and I focus in on this stuff with my empowerment, with the ginger as well, and the Clary Sage, for clarity and vision, for just being able to really bring this in to be what I need it to be today, and to really set forward a powerful intention into the world. So I've already put those oils into my little diffuser, and that's just going to burn away there for me, and that smells kind of just coming all around me, so that I can breathe that in, so that the smells from the essential oils were connecting with my limbic brain, into like the oldest parts of my brain. And again, like I said, then when I smell that trio, that beautiful trio of oils mixed together, and I can, you know, I can smell them, I can drop them onto my hands and just, you know, take them aromatically like that, or I can put them onto something. I can, you know, mix them with a carrier oil and rub them over my arms, the back of my neck, my temples, you know, whatever it is that I need to be able to remember and to revive and to revitalize and to recharge into this intention. So those are my oils, and this is my creative space. So next thing I'm going to do, I have spent some time today going over through magazines. I've got Condé Nast Traveler, I've got Natural Health, I've got Happiness Magazine, I've got a Balance Magazine, I've got Om Yoga, I've got Yoga Journal, I've got like loads of like magazines that I've been going through, old magazines that I actually use for reference as well. And I always keep my magazines, because I just always feel like times like this, it's good to have. And it's good to keep looking back and over for inspiration for things. So I've cut a load of stuff out. I have also printed a load of stuff off. I've gone through the internet and I've looked at the things that I want to create, the places that I want to go. I've printed off a picture of my This Happy Guru logo because we're going to be focusing mostly on my business, actually. Mostly on what I want to create for my business next year going forward. I really want to grow my business. I have loved being in the UK for the last 2 years, but I am feeling absolutely a calling to get back out on the road, and I want to take everything that I do with me. So that's my absolute focus. I want to be able to take everything that I do and put it out there to the world, in the world, and draw in as many people as I can to really begin to kind of influence them, to empower them, and to enable more and more people to live a more conscious life that is based on them putting into them. That's kind of like the big thing that I always give back, I suppose, is that it's like, it's about you putting into you. But when you do, it's the most beautiful influx of energy that you can give to yourself. Like if you spend time looking after you, then you'll have the energy to be able to look after everybody else. Then you'll have the ability to be able to kind of focus more on your children because you are feeling more patient, you're not so stressed or that sort of thing. But it all does start with you, you the individual. And that's really, I suppose, my overlying message in everything that I do. And what I'd like to do really is to be able to bring all the loves of my life, if you like, together and make that into my business and into my life as well, because that's really the way I see, I suppose, my life going forward. Like, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do what I do until I can't do it anymore. And I'm seeing that as being, when I can't see or I can't hear or I can't physically move much faster anymore, and, all those sorts of things. I see it being something that I can do until the very end, whenever that might be, which I'm aiming again for in the hundreds. So, I've got a while yet. So I think it's important to manifest now what it is that I see myself doing so that, I can keep I can get it up and running, and then I can keep adjusting it, keep tweaking it as I need to. So I'm focusing a lot on my business with this 2019 vision board. And so I've printed out my This Happy Guru logo. And that's what's going to be going into the center of my vision board. So if I just lift this up, you can see I've attached, it's heavy, I've attached my Indian cloth onto my vision board. It's going to be going vertically. It's going to be working vertically. So I'm going to just drop it down onto the floor while I attach everything. And then I'll kind of keep lifting it up and showing you how it's getting on. So I've got my This Happy Guru logo. And that's going to go right in the middle. And like I said, I'm using pins to attach. Apart from the fact that they're kind of reusable, I can use them over and over again. I like that pinning things into stuff. I don't know, maybe it's kind of an old thing from, like when we used to have cork boards and stuff like that. Nothing's physical anymore, is it? Everything's digital. I kind of miss the physicality of it all. Anyway, so I'm pinning that onto there. Actually, do you know what? I'm not going to pin it straight away. I'm going to make sure that I want everything in the right place. Even though I'm not sticking, I don't want loads of holes and everything. And if I can utilize few pins, I will. So anyway, This Happy Guru, my brand name, if you like, my website, the umbrella of everything that I do is going to go right in the middle of this one. And one of the first things that I want to achieve really for This Happy Guru as a brand and as a website is I want to develop more followers. So this year I'm aiming to get 100,000 people on YouTube, my YouTube subscribers. So I just literally got this off the internet, 100,000 YouTube subscribers. And I'm going to pop that down there. And I want the same, 100,000 is my magic number this year. That's what I'm going for. So I thought go big or go home, So I've got 100,000 Instagram followers as well. Again, you can get all these off the internet. Like, it's so easy. You can go in there, choose what size you want to print it off. I've printed these off pretty big because I want to be able to see them every day. I don't want them to be the little obscure things. I want these to be kind of the main focus on what I want to do. If I can get up 100,000 Instagram followers and 100,000 YouTube followers, then, I'm reaching a 1% or something ridiculous, aren't I, of not even 0.5%. 5% or something like that it will be of the world's population, but at least it feels like a good number of people that I'm reaching out to. You know, and listen, I'm only talking 2019. If I get my, when I get my 100, sorry, not if, when I get my 100,000 followers by the end of 2019, then I can up it all. My next vision board will be like 1 million, won't it? You know, if I've got the 100,000, then why can't I maximize that in the next year? It'll be easy. So I've got my 100,000 followers for Instagram. I've got my 100,000 followers for YouTube, and they are surrounding my This Happy Guru account. So the other thing that I wanted to make sure that I focus in on my This Happy Guru is remembering that it's not all about just the numbers and anything like that. It's actually about me enjoying the process as well. Like I said, this is something that I want to make into my life. I want my life to reflect my work and my work to reflect my life. Like that's how I see sustainable living for myself. I don't want to do 9 to 5. I don't want to be location based anymore. I want to have the opportunity to be able to teach people privately and one-on-one and stuff, but I don't have to be settled, if you like, to be able to do that. I can, come and I can go and keep dropping in on people and, be able to make that work, manifest that for people. Realistically, once you've got people to a certain stage with the yoga, it's a good idea actually to move them away, or for you to move away and let them develop their self-practice and let them take that journey for themselves, because otherwise they can become like almost a dependency on your teacher, and you only think you're as good as your teacher, and it's all about you. That's the thing with yoga. It really is. As a lifestyle yoga asana practice, it's all about you. It's about how much you put in. You get out what you put in. So I want to kind of make sure that around my This Happy Guru site, there is all the other things that I want to do. So I've cut out loads of stuff. So I've cut out lots of little things. So I've got like, do not seek the light, realize that you are the light, stuff like that. I love just to reaffirm into myself that it's about me. It's what I create. I believe that as a human being, you have to try to give the world the very best you have to offer. So that's going to go above This Happy Guru, because that pretty much is also my mantra for my work, putting in as much as I possibly can and giving it my best, giving it my all. So that's going to go at the top there in that beautiful pink. The other thing that I've printed off is our place in Thailand. So I don't know, probably you guys haven't seen this before, but this is Eden Villas Krabi, which is the villa retreat or villa village, if you like, or villa, what is it? It's Eden Villas Krabi. It's 3 villas. It's set in the jungle next to the mountains in Krabi, as you can see here. 3 individual pool villas, but with, well, as you can see, land all around it. This is palm land over here. This is kind of like rubber and jungle around here. Now, my husband and I, for the last sort of 3 or 4 years, in fact, probably a bit longer than that actually now, but back here too, so probably about 4 years, we have wanted, there's a section of land at the back here that we want to buy, and we would like to buy over here as well, so that we can really transform like this whole area along the mountain. This, you can't really see from the picture, but the mountain goes like a little hug, like the hand, like a grasp of a hand. And then Khao Thong mountain range goes on for over 1 kilometre. And I always think it's like the arm of a hand just hugging like that, and we're in like the wrist a little bit. Now I'd like to actually be able to build a big retreat centre all along here, starting with the villas so that we can open up to families, so that we can get in things for kids. We've already got like a playground and stuff for children on the land. We've got the pools and all that sort of thing. But I would love to be able to, again, amalgamate my Kirsty's Conscious Kids, the yoga, the meditation, the healthy lifestyle, cooking, Ayurvedic cooking and vegetarian and vegan cooking, and teaching all that alongside being able to relax with your kids, being able to go on the adventures that Thailand and Krabi specifically has to offer. So just down the road from us, we have this kayaking that's amazing down in Outer Lane, it's called, and it's like kayaking around 160 million year old karsts. These karst mountains have shells and stuff on top of them. When they've been discovered, they have shells. So they were under the sea at some stage. And it's all of this, everything that we grew to love living over there, I want to be able to kind of offer out to people. and not just adults going on a quiet retreat. I want to be able to offer it out to families as well, so that you can do individuals, you can do families, you can do groups, and really it kind of, Eden calls for everybody, and it's a sanctuary for everyone. And we have gibbons and we have bear, macaque, monkeys, that go across the mountain at the back there, calling out every morning. There's monitor lizards, there's snakes, there's scorpions, all those sorts of things. So, so my idea, my vision for Eden, to grow Eden, is really to bring it into like the Eden sanctuary, and buy this bit of land at the back and buy here as well and develop these villas. So that's actually Eden Villas as it stands at the moment. So that's going into my top left corner. And I'm putting it in the top left because it resonates with the top left part of my body, which is my heart, right? And I believe that, I've left a piece of my heart for sure in Thailand. Like, I love Thailand. I always have. I have done for over 20 years. So yeah, it's gone up there in the top left part of my board. I'm bringing it down just a little bit so I can stick the other things around there. Now, what I want to create for that, I've printed off and cut out other bits of pictures as well. So I've got a picture here of developing a yoga sala there that has a beautiful view. Admittedly, I will probably not have the view of mountains over a lake. That probably isn't what it is. But it's really more that open air sala where I'm teaching at the front, and you've got a beautiful view coming out. So that is something that I really want to create. That beautiful, open air sala where you've got a high up view of the mountains and of water. What we do have at Eden is, as you look the other way, we have a view out onto Outer Lane, which is our local bay, and it's got lots of karst mountains as islands out in the middle of the sea. So it's the beginning of Phang Nga Bay, which is like where James Bond Island is. If you've seen The Man with the Golden Gun, then you'll be familiar with what a karst mountain and what that James Bond Island looks like. So there's a lot of those islands right out in our bay. It's stunning. And so, I would love to be able to build a sala kind of high up, almost into the treetops, so that we can see out and look out to the sea in one direction and then look back and at the mountains in another. And that image really did kind of grab for me what it was kind of, that overall goal that I'm going for. So I'm going to put that at the top there and just slightly overlay it with Eden, because I feel like I want it to imprint in on Eden as well. So I'm going to pop that there. Then I got a load of other pictures. I've got some pictures here of the kind of swimming pool, the natural pool that I would like to build in the land when we buy it. So we put in fiberglass pools into our villas at the moment, primarily because they could take the salt water. Rather, we didn't want any chlorine going into our pools, so we take and use them for salt water. They're much more sturdy, they're much more hardy than the tiles are. The salt water tends to affect the grouting around tiles, and so we decided, look, do you know what, those fiberglass pools should last for about 30 years. The tiles will need to be replaced. That means draining all the water to waste of water. It's this, it's that, it's the other. We ummed and ahed about what we were doing, and we decided that was where we were going to go with the pools. But for the extension on of Eden, both my husband and I would like to do a more natural pool that comes underneath, or the foot of the mountain, so that as you're in the pool, you can really feel like you're kind of, you're surrounded by the mountain and jungle and nature. And I want to make it a lot more eco than the villas that we've got at the moment. So there I've got like a natural pool surrounded with wood, surrounded with kind of like little wooden salas that you can sit under and hang out, that you could sunbathe under. They've got like little wooden umbrellas and all that sort of thing. So that's a little picture of that. And of course, again, it's got the mountains all surrounded by it. So that's going to come down here. I'm going to pop that actually at the top there. Can go up there. Then I've got a picture of like tree houses and little stilt houses, because one of the things that we always fought with living in the jungle was creatures coming into our house. And I don't want that. I don't want to be fighting with nature. I want to be living alongside nature. So as I started to kind of, we went in there as foreigners building in Thailand, and as you begin to look around the locals, and they're all kind of living or a lot of them traditionally were living in houses on stilts, you begin to understand why. That way you're not fighting with the ants cuts always coming in and the centipedes coming in. And, you're safe from the scorpions. The snakes generally will go underneath you. It's all that sort of stuff. So I wanted to build, in our extension of Eden, I want to build kind of more houses on stilts so that the animals can pass under us. And in fact, have the walkways the same, just slightly lifted up so that the majority of our animals can pass under us. And not even just the animals. When it really, really rains at Eden, it's like flood waters passing over the land. It's amazing. You see, literally rivers just flowing over the top of the land, and then it stops raining and 5 minutes later they're all gone. They've all drained out to the sea or they've gone into the land. So I honestly think that houses on stilts, eco houses on stilts, the way to go. Everything wooden, made of bamboo or wood, sustainable source wood, and be able to build like some up in the trees. So underneath I'm going to put like my little tree house one there, and then I've got ones up here on stilts as well, so I'm going to pop that one there, and I'm just going to stick all these around there. And then I've got like a pool with like little again eco-friendly houses around here, but with like a water feature or a pool going through it. So I love that idea as well. So that might be something that I can bring in with the swimming pool or something like that, how the swimming pool maybe just goes in between all the houses so that you can walk out from your villa or your little hut, and you've got the view of this beautiful natural pool, and you've got the mountain at the back of you, and all these sorts of things. So I'm going to pop that in there as well. It can go down like that. So these are my visions for what I want to create for Eden Villas going forward. And more importantly, well, I say more importantly, but for my retreats going forward, because that's the vision for my retreats. That's what I want to be able to invite people to. Like, I love Eden as it is at the moment, and I've held a retreat already there, utilising the existing buildings. But I really want to be able to make it so that there's more available accommodation for people, that people one-on-one can come, couples can come, and it not be quite as expensive as it would be to rent out, a whole villa, or even, kind of part of a villa. And I really kind of want to make it a little bit more natural setting as well for those bespoke houses, so that we're able to section off, like I say, and use the big houses for families coming in, and the smaller accommodations for couples, and for smaller families, maybe children, parents with one child. It's a lot to hire out a big villa for, just you and your one child. So it would be nice to have a kind of a bigger 3-bed or 2-bedroom, sorry, for example, or one massive room that's got the ability to be able to have a double bed and a single bed in it, or section off into, a little bit, so that your child's got some space and you've got some space as well. So that was that going forward. That's what I kind of wanted to create. And I've got a lot of other pictures that I've got here actually that I can put in. I've got sort of other like little ones of villas in the jungle here. I've got ones of, I mean, that really looked like Eden. That was why I printed that out. I was like, oh my God, look, someone's already doing it at Eden. You can see it looks like the Kautong mountain range in the background with little huts. So those ones as well were really, have kind of pulled me in. And then an open air massage sala, which I thought that would be amazing to manifest that as well. In fact, I think that might have to go on my vision board too. So let's pop that down underneath there, as a way of being able to bring that in. Now, obviously, it's not just the pictures that you want, it's drawing in, it's the language that you're using with yourself. It's the language of manifestation that we kind of want to be able to draw in. So there was a lot of stuff that I ended up printing up something. I'm so grateful for the beautiful nature around me where I live and where I work, wherever I am in the world. So I ended up writing that because I couldn't find anything that really said that. It was really, I wanted to make sure that the language that I used put me into the vibration of gratitude, of knowing how lucky I am already that I've manifested Eden, that we already have that in our lives, and how grateful, why it is that I'm so grateful for Eden as well. The fact that I get to live outside there, the fact that I get to work outside there, that I'm in nature pretty much the whole day, and that I have even my home there is kind of inside outside, like I could open it all up, and in any weather, and it be safe from the elements, and it just be a place that we can really relax in and enjoy the wonder of the weather. And I spend so much time in England closing myself away from the weather because it's cold, because it's wet, and it feels like you just want to, when it gets cold here, you just always go, oh, like that. Something I've really noticed coming home is that I really do hunch my shoulders and draw my back round, like protecting myself from the weather. And that's not something that I do in the rain in Thailand. In fact, it's boiling. The most that I'll do, I used to take the dog for a run in pouring rain and thunderstorms, and love it. Like actively say, woo, Zion, let's go. I want to go and go for a run, and it'd be pouring down. I would get drenched in sweat within 5 minutes from running in the 35-degree heat in Thailand anyway. But there was something really quite special about that as well, pitting yourself against the elements type thing, and feeling that strength and that power. I often get real rushes of joy and full energy from running in the middle of the day. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But I used to love it. I really did. And if I wasn't feeling it, I'd get up at 6 in the morning and run when it was a bit cooler. I'd still come back absolutely dripping. So what difference if it was pouring with rain? Often after a run, I'd go and jump in the local stream, and the dog would swim in the stream with me, and we'd get out and just kind of get back into the old motor and drive home. And again, didn't worry about the motor because you leave the door open, you leave the window open, and it's dry within like 2 hours. It's honestly crazy, crazy heat over there. So anyway, I want that. I'm so grateful for the nature around me, where I live and where I work, wherever I am in the world. That's really important to me, that sentiment. So I'm just going to cut it down a little bit to make sure that it fits in, and then I'm not wasting space. But I want that to be, I really want that. I'm going to leave a little bit of space around it, a little bit of paper around it, because this is the sort of thing that I would highlight with my sequins, and if I've got that there, then I can actually glue these on, because these bad boys aren't so easy to stick on with a bit of with a pin. So I want that to be able to come somewhere into Eden, but I think I'm just going to place that there as well, over the top of those things. There. Okay, lovely. Like I say, I'll pin it all at the end, but I just want to lay it all out so that it really resonates, and the things that I'm putting down there really kind of jump out at me. So the next thing that I wanted, I'm manifesting for next year, is going to India to do some more training. So I didn't get actually quite as many pictures of what I wanted from India. One of the pictures that I want to go up into Dharamshala, which is where the Dalai Lama and the exiled Tibetans reside now in northern India. And I want up to go, and this is a picture from Dharamshala there. So you can see kind of up in the mountains, Tibetan prayer flags flying, a beautiful kind of mist going over the mountains. And I did my training in Rishikesh, which was up in the Himalayas. And it's just probably about 8 or 12 hours in a bus from Dharamshala. And I'm really feeling that need to go back to the mountains to do more study. It's a very peaceful place. The Ganges starts from kind of about 3 hours drive from Rishikesh. And so the water in the Ganges there is really, really clean, like nothing in comparison to like Varanasi down in the south. Once it's come through and and it's gathered almost the waste of India, as they use it for everything. Like the Ganges is used for everything. It's used for water, it's used for bathing, it's used for washing, it's used for ceremonies, it's used for sending the dead on their way, it's used for everything, like crazy. And so the higher up you get, if you like, the closer to source that you get for the Ganges, the cleaner it is, the colder it is. It starts from like a highland spring in the highest Himalaya. And so it can be really, really cold. It was really cold when I was in Rishikesh, and I went in May, the 5th month. So there's my 5 again. So that's really important to me as well, going up there and really being up high in the mountains. I feel like I need that clarity of mind. I feel like I need to be back up in the rooftops of the world. It takes me back to the millennium when I went up to Nepal for the millennium. so that I could be at the rooftops of the world as we pass through the millennium there. So that kind of reminds me of that. So that's something that I want to manifest. So I'm going to place India underneath Thailand here because it ties in with, you know, bringing that whole part of me into one. So I'm learning, you know, and wherever I learn, I'm enabling myself to kind of put out for other people, you know. So whatever I bring in, I then put out, and I like that cyclical nature of my work. That whatever I invest in myself, I'm not just investing in myself, I'm investing in everybody else that comes into my life. Investing in, you know, that's really how I see it. If I invest in myself, then I'm investing into my children, because whatever I'm bringing in for myself, I'm enabling myself. I'm bringing more skill into my being, and I'm able to then transcend and give that back out to my children, to my clients, to my relationships, to my business, you know, and essentially to everybody that I touch. So I really love that part of my work, that when I invest in myself, I'm also investing out into everybody that comes into my life. And as I grow my business, as I grow this Happy Guru to 100,000 followers and 100,000 YouTube subscribers, you know, hopefully some of those people won't be the same people. We're looking at like 150,000 followers, let's say, or 200,000 if you want to look at it like really kind of objectively. Yeah, I feel like that would be, you know, an amazing number of people to be able to be influencing and empowering to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. So I'm putting India up there. I've also got yoga retreat, outside yoga retreat there. So that's going down there as well. And I want to study at my old school, the Association of Yoga and Meditation. So they have now built a different building than the one that I went to study in. So AYM is going up there as well, and I'm going to put AYM in there in their new building because I'd like to go and see my guru from there, and so I'm popping them in there as well. They can go there. Lovely. Couple of other, I suppose, inviting or engaging things that I've cut out here. So I've got, look, a taste of India there, which I'm going to put across the top of those two things, just to draw that in, just to bring my focus into India, a taste of India. I've got be courageous and shine, let your light shine, show yourself in all your greatness. So I'm going to put that as well near my This Happy Guru. I'm just going to cut that out. I'm a big board of all the square stuff. So I'm going to cut that out to a little bit of an abstract shape. It invites it with the way that the text has been printed. And I'm feeling the need to kind of take a few of the edges off here and make it a little bit more, I don't know, this is maybe the divine feminine energy flowing through me, right? Nothing needs to be linear with the divine feminine. It's all about kind of bringing in everything. So that's going to go in there, and I think I'm just going to pop that over the top there. I like that, how that goes over the top of my pictures from yoga, from Eden, and just, yeah, invites me to focus in on that as well. The next thing that I've done is I've printed off, I got this idea from Jim Carrey, right? Crazy. I've printed off a blank check. There, I'm going to cut it out now. I didn't have a chance to do it before, so I'll cut it out with you guys here. You can be present to what I am manifesting in my blank check. So again, 100,000 is my magic number for the next year. 100,000. I'm going to keep saying that as I'm doing it. 100,000. 100,000 YouTube subscribers, 100,000 Instagram followers within the next year. That's what I'm aiming for in 2019. That's what I'm going to achieve in 2019. So I'm going to give myself a check. I'm going to write myself a check for £100,000. I'm doing pounds, you know, I'm English. I'm going to do it in pounds. So I'm going to write this out. I'm going to pay Kirsty Bentley Taylor, and I'm going to do December 2019. So December 2019, pounds, £100,000. I'm going to write that out. £100,000 only. And I'm going to sign it because I'll be paying myself that from my royalties, from my work, from my subscriptions. There it is, people. £100,000. That's what I'll be getting by the end of next year. That's my check to myself and everything that I bring in. So that is going to go paramount. It's going to go at the bottom here, I think, underneath all this, so that I can see. This is my whole work, kind of little work column that I've got going down here. A little work column. 100,000 YouTube subscribers, 100,000 followers, bringing me in £100,000 by the end of 2019. Okay, so I'm giving myself just a little over a year. By the end of next year, I think that's achievable. 100 grand. Why not? Why not? You know, that's the thing as well, isn't it? It's having faith in all this. Like, other people have turned their lives around in a lot quicker space than that. You know, I believe if they can do it, I can. There's no difference between them and me, apart from perhaps they found something. Well, no, I found something that I really, really want to create, that I can really, really see myself doing, that I can see myself achieving. And so I think £100,000 by the end of next year is well achievable. But as long as I keep my focus and I keep going, then, you know, that's what it's going to be all about. And this is what all the next stuff is about. So it's about content, right? So obviously for this Happy Guru, I am producing content. I am producing videos. I already have my YouTube subscribers, so things are going on to YouTube. I've already put that out there. I want to remember to keep shining my light. So that was a little something that I put out. And I love those colours that shine your light. And actually the overall picture from this was, actually I can probably show you, was of these two little monks, on the front cover of Happiness magazine there. So this was where I got that from. Shine your light. Look at their beautiful faces. If that doesn't encourage you to shine your light, I don't know what does. And again, with the reds, the oranges, the pinks, you know, really great colours for me. Really high vibe colours there. So that's going down there as well. Shine your light. That can go underneath the 100,000 YouTube followers, I think. Then I've got another one. I found another one with a little deserted island of it. Have it all. And I don't see why you can't. You know, why not? When you want to manifest something, have it all. You know, have the time spent with your family. Have the holidays. Have the shorter working hours. Have the ability, like I love to be able to do, to take my dog out every day. You know, have it all, right? Why not? You know, I don't see why I can't manifest that. It's all about design. It's all about bringing it in. Keep my focus, keep my drive going, and I'm going to have it all. That's 2019 for me. Boom. That is what I'm doing. So having it all. I'm going to put that there, front and center, alongside this Happy Guru, my work ethic going down there, my 100,000 YouTube subscribers, my 100,000 Instagram followers, as I shine my light, as I go to do my further training and my spiritual engagement. That's what I really got from India, was really being able to drop into my spirituality 100%, and really recognize how strong it is and how many amazing things happen when I'm dropped in fully into myself. You know, that there's no price that you can put on that sort of stuff. That is eye-opening, mind-blowing, heart-filling, soul-igniting sort of stuff. You know, and I had so many experiences like that in India when I went over and did my training, and it really just was like boom, 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 boom. And I lived so frugally. I had so little. I was literally living on a straw mattress in a single room, with, you know, candlelight, and I was living in an ashram. So we're having to do like little, you know, cleaning the ashram and tidying things away, looking after everything, part of the community, part of the family. It really was a really special time. And when you become humble, when you engage in everything, when you put your energy out there, I really do believe that magic begins to happen. And Rishikesh is, such a beautiful city. If you ever get the opportunity, go and visit it. It's got a beautiful, beautiful energy. It's like a city it's a pilgrimage city. It's a place for sages to come. It's also a dry city. You know, there's no alcohol, which I felt was really, it really helped to keep the place sacred. You know, it was quiet at night time. It allowed peace. You know, weren't people out drinking until the early hours as they are in Goa and other places in India. It was really it was a sacred place, and I've really felt that coming in. So that was amazing for me. So I've got another one. I am using my energy and knowledge to help empower others. So we're going to put that down here as well. Going to put that one on there. Yeah. I've got this big one. Look, do not seek the light, realize you are the light. So I love that sort of stuff. You know, I've got my shine the light. Actually, let's move that over here. I'm using my energy and knowledge to help empower others. That can go underneath the check because that's what's going to pay me that 100,000. Do not seek the light, realize you are the light. That's a lovely big one. That can go over here. And that can go as I channel up. What I'm loving actually about the way that I'm placing these, I'm noticing that I'm kind of building a pyramid from this happy guru coming down, if you like, or from all these affirmations, all these beautiful messages that I've really resonated with coming up and then building out. You know, this kind of has become almost the channel from this happy guru up has become Eden, the expression of Eden, my further journey on into India. You know, it's really kind of begun to build almost a funnel, a channel coming out. I'm really loving that movement of my board so far. So then I've got, I forgot to print and put a picture out there. So I've got the healing power of sound. So something came into my life about 10 days ago, and I've been a little bit obsessed ever since. So you know I love my healing bowls, my Tibetan sound bowls. And I think the other day I was trawling through the internet and I came across hang pans, which are they do various different notes, but they're kind of basically these kind of almost steel, I don't want to say drum, you hit them with your hand, but they're kind of like these, literally like flying saucers, in honesty, but they have this most ethereal sound. So I want to manifest a hang pan into my life, because for the last 5 years, I think, well, probably, no, about 5 years, since my youngest started going to school anyway, and I had a little bit more time on my hand, I've really felt this calling to explore more music in my life. You know, I love singing, I love music. It's a very big, important part of my life for me. But I'm not playing anything. I'm not making any music other than with my voice, you know, as I sing and my mantras and all those sorts of things. But I'm not making any music, and I really want to. I really want to get that into my life. So I'm going to do that while you guys are on as well. Just going to grab my laptop, and I'm going to print out a picture of a hang pan so that I can put that in. I really, you know, they're not cheap, these things. They're not, it's not the sort of thing you can go down. I've ummed and ahed about getting a ukulele because they're like, you know, you can get them for like $50 or something like that, like a decent ukulele. You could get them for about $50. But I'm just not really, I like ukuleles because I think it's such a happy sound. You know, it's a really chirpy, high energy, happy sound. But I don't know, I'm just not getting it. And then, you know, this came through to me, this hang pan the other day, and I was just like, wow, you know, that is immense. I'm just going to get into Google. Sorry, I shouldn't really be doing this while you're all on. But I want to make this, you know, and this is the thing. When something comes into you, when you begin to think, oh, that's what I want to manifest, get going on it, right? This is kind of like the 5-second rule that I've spoken about before, is if you want to manifest something, if something drops in, you've got one chance, like, well, you haven't got one chance to action it, but you've got the energy behind that intuition. You've got the energy behind that universal, that higher drop-in to be able to channel on and use to manifest whatever it is that you want. And so I'm getting really, really, really into, I suppose, or addicted to almost the pattern of manifesting immediately when I get an intuitive thought or intuitive drop-in or something like that. Because I feel like you know, there's a power there that I need to utilize. So I'm just going to go into a picture here of a handpan. They're not particularly attractive. Like I said, they look like UFOs. But when you play them, I'll see if I can play one for you. Why can't I use this? Okay. Let's take this screenshot. Then I'm going to see if I can't play a hangpan for you as well. Because it would be beautiful music for you to be able to listen to as well. You can Google this or YouTube it, like, but let's while I'm manifesting this, let's listen to what they say. Sorry, I can't do three things at once, can I? Clearly. Okay, this is beautiful. So this is a guy called Sam Mayer in New York playing the handpan. I'm going to turn it up. We're going to have to skip ad in 2, 1. Skip ad. And then I'm going to bring this up to you. So this is buskers. And this is the hangpan. I don't know if you can see it. This guy's playing one here. So it's quite big. They're about like 1/2 meter across. But that's how you play it. And I'm just addicted to this now. I don't know if I can go in any bigger, see? Like, this blows my mind. I love this. I hope you can hear. I hope you can see. So that's a hangpan. So I'll share the link with you guys, perhaps at the bottom of here. We'll leave him going because I'm all over this music. And I'm going to print out a picture of the hangpan for myself while I'm on the phone while I'm online with you guys now, and print that out. Because this is definitely something that I want to manifest. Like, he's still going, that is immense. In fact, I should have had hangpan music playing while I'm doing this, right? They're about like this big, like they weigh like 5-6 kilos. It's massive. Let me just go and grab the printer. Okay. So I've got my picture. I'm going to cut it out whilst listening to Sam Mayer in New York. The subway, feeling the subway. Could you imagine you're going to work and you're listening to this? Like, all I can imagine is playing this around Eden, you know, and just like that at night with the, you know, with the big fire pit going. You know, we've got big fire, so we've got fire pits so that because in the evening as the Aussies come down, if you start a fire, the smoke just puts them off and they just go. You know, they're just not interested. There's easier prey elsewhere. And I love that. I love that whole thing, sitting around a fire with your people, with your tribe, with, you know, those people that you're sharing the space with, that you're sharing an energy with. You know, you really get to see and relax and experience the kind of the true nature of living outside as well when there's a fire around. And I just, you know, that sort of thing. But I was just thinking, my goodness, like, if I'm sitting around and every, you know, and I'm playing that, and I get to play my hangpan while everybody else is kind of finishing dinner, or, you know, finishing up or coming out, you know, and want to just hang around, or even if they're not, for them to be sitting back in their villa, back in their little eco hut, and just relaxing and able to hear that noise, that sound ricocheting and echoing around Eden. like around the mountains, because the thunder just rolls around the mountains. We have a call to prayer 3 times a day from the Muslim village down the road. And these guys there just have such beautiful voices. We're so blessed. And it just ricochets off the mountain. You know, it's stunning. And I just feel like I heard that and all I could think was, oh my goodness, like that at Eden would be amazing. And for me to be able to play, I just felt that was really like, yeah, that's something I can do. I can do the rhythm. I can do the beat. And, you know, I used to kind of dabble with the drums and stuff. And I'm all over it. Like, this is something that I'm manifesting into my life. And so I had actually picked up as well the healing power of sound. And that's what's just reminded me about it. So I'm going to put the healing power of sound, because that would heal me and it will heal anyone and everybody around it. I think it's just beautiful. So there's my picture of my hang pan. There's my healing power of sound. And I'm going to put them down here underneath my £100,000 check. Yeah. And Sam May is finished, which is a bit of a shame. I wouldn't mind to listen to some of that, but let's turn it off for a moment. Okay, so I've got that down there as well. I don't know if there's much else more that I really want to manifest. Like, this is what I want going forward. This is what I want next year to look like. You know, I want it to look like extra training for me. I want it to look like manifesting, beginning to manifest and make the money to be able to do Eden. You know, once I've made my £100,000, all those changes to Eden are really affordable. Like, that's easily done. You know, it's we have the knowledge now, we have the know-how, we have the contacts, you know, we have all of those sorts of things already in place to be able to manifest all that. So one of the other things that I put down was travel, explore, work, reflect, heal. And that's really how I kind of see a lot of the stuff that I do. You know, I've gained so much experience from my travels, from exploring the world, given me so much self-confidence, so much self-power, the ability to be able to communicate and connect with so many different people from so many different ages, cultures, religions. And it becomes obvious that actually we can all connect without words. We can all connect through energy. And I think that was one of the reasons that I kind of really began on this path, because I really knew that. I had the experience that I was able to draw on, to really accept that was my truth. That is a truth, you know, that we can all connect to energy and that we can all help heal one another if we are open to it. So working out there, you know, traveling, exploring, and then working out there, doing what I do, being able to reflect not only for myself, but back for everybody else as well, you know, being able to take the experiences that I have and the way that I perceive them and share that out with the world to enable other people to have the confidence to do the same is really, you know, one of the things that I would love to do. And then ultimately that would help with healing, right? Getting people to begin to heal themselves. Because I believe in that. You know, I've healed myself. I healed myself from depression, from anxiety, physically healed myself when I was expressing loads of different problems in my body, from, you know, tightness in my muscles and boils and backaches and, you know, skeletal pain and, you know, all this sort of stuff, as well as all the emotional stuff that I went through. You know, you can heal yourself. It's just a case of kind of almost being inspired, if you like, or put into the situation where you need to, but you need people around you to be able to help you sometimes. I know I certainly did. So anyway, travel, explore, work, reflect, heal. That's going in there at the bottom. That's kind of like my footnote, if you like. So I'm going to put that underneath the hang pan. And then I'm going to put like paradise awaits. Where am I going to put paradise awaits? I think maybe up here. Paradise awaits. There, I love it. And I've got some other ones. This was one for my blogging. So blogging with a view. So I printed off this picture of this woman that you can see there. Picture of this woman doing her blogging with this beautiful sunshine view. So that can go down into this corner. And then I think I'm pretty much done. So let me invite you over to see. I hope you can see there. So this is my vision board. So at the top, we've got Eden Villas going out into the retreats, my Paradise Awaits, going on to my Taste of India. I'm so grateful for the beautiful nature I have where I live and where I work, wherever I am in the world. Focus of it all is my work, this happy guru, me, the reflection of me that I'm putting out to the world. I believe that as a human being, you have to try to give the world the very best you have to offer. That is my mantra. That is me going forward, everything, my best that I've got to put into this happy guru. And that will get me my YouTube subscribers, my 100,000 Instagram followers. That will get me that £100,000 check by shining my light, by not seeking the light, realizing I am the light. There's my hangpan. If I could play the music alongside looking at this, I will, but I'm definitely going to try and get that in my mind. I'm going to kind of download something. So that is how it's going to look once it's all pinned down. And then all I have to do really is pin it all down. So that's going to be my next job. But I won't stop you. I'm just going to close that up. There. Can go down like that, and that's going to be closed so that the kids can't get their grubby little mitts on it. And that is my vision board. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do alongside my vision board, obviously, because as much as looking at something every day is a great way of beginning to start manifesting what it is that you want, I think it's really, really important to say it as well and to be grateful for what it is that you already have. You can manifest anything that you want into your life with the right focus, with the right determination, but also with gratitude and accepting that you already have. It's just out there. You've just got to take it, So the mantras that I'll be putting alongside my vision board when I see them, and, when I'm kind of have the presence of mind to be able to say them as well. Mantras such as, I've put there, I'm grateful for the beautiful nature around me, where I live and where I work, wherever I am in the world, because that's a gratitude that I already have. That I am already grateful for that. Even in the UK, where, it's raining and it's like miserable yesterday, and today has kind of been very, very windy and crazy day. But I'm so grateful for being able to get out into nature and really experience that. The breath of fresh air that you get metaphorically and physically, like literally, is something that I know I need in my soul, going forward. It's important to really feel, I think, everything that you're kind of putting into, you've got to accept that all of that stuff is already there for you. You just have to be open to receiving it. So mantras like, I'm so grateful for the abundance that I have, for all the work that I do with my clients who light me up, who fill me up, and who enable me to live such an abundant life, both financially, emotionally, spiritually, and in terms of my lifestyle as well. I'm so, so grateful for that. I really am. And it's mantras like that. Write them down. Begin to say them every time that, you come into your vision board. So you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, I'm so grateful for all this stuff. This is so coming into my world. And, I'm so uber grateful for everything that comes in that looks like this. So if I was thinking about Thailand, for example, I'm already really, really grateful for Eden. I'm grateful for everything that it gives me. But I'm grateful also for the opportunity to be able to expand it, to be able to invite more people to come and stay there, to be able to evolve Eden into being a place that families can come, so that Kirsty's Conscious Kids, I can do the kids yoga and stuff then as well. I can, really begin to really bring everything that I do into Eden and make it home again for, like home from home for a lot of other people as well. So it's a space that they can go to with their families regularly whenever they want to. And then, maybe those kids will bring their families, and, that sort of thing would be amazing, right? That's a real legacy. And I'm super grateful to be able to offer that legacy out there for people to be able to enjoy and to be able to make their own special memories with their families. And I'm really, really grateful for all the opportunities that I have to be able to empower other people with tools and with confidence and with experience that they can then go out and empower other people with. All those sorts of affirmations, all those beautiful mantras for gratitude and for acceptance and for joy for the life that you're already living and for that life that you're creating with every thought, with every alignment in with the energy of creativity, invoking the law of attraction, invoking the laws of cause and effect. You know, the more opportunities that come to me, I need to know that I'm open to them. I need to be present and aware that when somebody says to me, you know, how about do this for your Instagram? It could be a message coming in and I act on it, you know. If it feels good, act on it. A bit like that, oh, the hang pan. I'd forgotten about that. That kind of slipped out, but no, it came back in at the last moment. I didn't miss out on it altogether. It came back in because it's got to be there. It's meant to be there. I can feel that. I can feel that I will be playing that hang pan underneath those mountains. I can see myself doing it literally. I can literally close my eyes. I don't even have to close my eyes. I can see myself sitting as I am now with a hang pan there and just playing it around with the mountain in front of me, with the insects vibrating around me as well. And I can see myself around fires playing it and, you know, people coming and going and, you know, almost I can see clinking and hearing clinking of knives and forks in the background from the kitchen as I'm kind of playing as the sun goes down. You know, that is something in me that really needs to come out as well. That is something that I've been wanting to express for a long time. And as soon as I heard that, I knew that was it. That was what I want to be able to kind of manifest. Like, you know, that is my expression of music for me, that and singing. And singing I can do wherever I am, but it's that touching, it's that making of a sound that isn't that I you know, it resonates within me, but from a part of me that I can't emulate, if that makes sense. I can't make those sounds myself. I can't make that tone, that resonance. I can't do that. And yet it's still a part of me. I know I need to create that. I know I need to manifest that. That has to come out. And I, you know, in the meantime, I'm loving playing with all my sound bowls and everything like that. But that was just something so special for me. Anyway, have a wonderful new moon. Happy Diwali to anybody that's still celebrating it around the world. I hope you've enjoyed vision boarding with me today. I hope that you really get into and enjoy manifesting your own vision board. It doesn't have to be done today. You know, I picked today because it felt so auspicious for me. And also it was a Wednesday. You know, it felt like, okay, this is a reason to share on Conscious Consumer Network. So I picked today to do that. But I really hope that you enjoy the whole process of visualizing your dream and making it come true to you in pictures, in words, in feelings, in emotions, and most of all in energy. And when you create it, have fun with it. You know, pick a time when you've got a good few hours to be able to draw sources and enjoy the whole process and really invoke the special, you know, feeling around you through whatever rituals you want. You don't have to have candles and Buddhas and essential oils. That's me. If it's not you, you know, do it your way. If you want to sit down with like a glass of wine, you know, and your music playing, then do whatever you need to do to get yourself in the mood, to get yourself in that creative space, in that energy place, and just enjoy really creating what it is that you are going to manifest for your future. Because I honestly believe that the more intention you set, the more you invoke the law of attraction, the more you can achieve and the quicker it will come to you. The more focused you are and the more direct and concise you are about what it is that you're asking for, the more it will manifest, the easier it will manifest, the quicker it will happen. So enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me with my vision board manifestation tonight. Enjoy the rest of the new moon. And yeah, thanks. Thanks for joining me. It's been a special night. Good night.
Humanity has been on an epic journey of discovery, learning the truth about the world we live in. New discoveries about the true origins of humanity, ancient history, free energy, as well as the systematic corruption of world governments are now on the forefront of our daily reality. Is the world headed towards destruction based on control and power? Or is an opportunity now being presented to shift and uplift into a higher consciousness? My name is Mel V, co-founder and creative director of Conscious Consumer Network, an independent broadcast network that was launched on the 1st of January 2015. In the last 3 years, Conscious Consumer Network has broadcast over 2,800 shows in multiple languages, featuring guests from across the world, whilst creating media that is aimed at the creation of a free, fair, peaceful, just, sustainable world. Conscious Consumer Network provides full training and an interactive support network for all broadcasters, and we are always looking for inspiring and educational content.
Hi, this is Lainey Liberty.
And this is Miro Siegel.
In 2018, Conscious Consumer Network has expanded to multiple broadcast locations, increasing our availability and reach across the world, remaining on the cutting edge of independent media. If we wish to create a better world, we must first create better media, geared towards real education instead of indoctrination.
You guys really are what changing the world is going to be about. It's educating kids at a grassroots level.
Having become a pillar of stability in the turbulent world of independent media, we have even more going on in 2018. Conscious Consumer Network is a publicly funded network, and we rely on all of you to keep us on the air. Show your support for independent media by donating to our 2018 Network Support Fund. Dare to seek a better world. Support independent media.